All these people have in common in the Disney TV shows.
We're neighbors here. Our lands join. You burn a man's house down from over his wife and children, he'll never forget that. He'll remember and he'll hate you till his dying day.
I love those moments when you can peek through the little crack in the wall of time. When it comes right down to it, all movies made about anything, past or present, are always firmly rooted in the time in which they're made. And that certainly goes for the Disney shows. These are all historical subjects and they're all delightful on their own level, but they're all clearly about the 50s.
What's more interesting is seeing what kind of vision and values are being projected backwards, and not so much what they reveal about the past as what they reveal about the present. It's interesting even within the Disney world to compare Walt Disney's 1950s versions of American history with that which came out under the Disney name in the 1990s as American history. Compare Davy Crockett as a heroic figure, what he represents, how he's portrayed, with Pocahontas as the most celebrated of American heroes or heroines in 40 years later in what Disney was putting out. What is it about Pocahontas that made her so sort of interesting in the 1990s? That she's a figure who brokers peace between Indians and the English colonists, as opposed to a kind of rough and rowdy frontier hero who shoots first and asks questions later, which is the old kind of celebrated Western hero. It may not tell us that much about either Pocahontas or Davy Crockett, but it tells us a great deal about the shifts in American culture that have occurred in the last 40 or 50 years.
I think like most of us, there was a time in his life in which he absorbed most of the things that made him what he was. All of us have these things. There's a time when we're just sponges. And if we're lucky, good stuff is being sucked in. It's not history, it's something about history.
They give us a touchstone to begin a conversation about the past and its connections to the present.
Movies are best when they inspire. Walt Disney had a vast imagination and just a vast curiosity. He really saw more than most of us mortals see. He took his influence over America's children very seriously. He was an amazingly positive force on American culture, and these shows, they all had great lessons, great moral teachings, and they're still great fun.
The governor's enemy, boy, what are you talking about?
I think in Disney's mind, what he thinks, this is what made America strong in the past, and this is what will make America strong in the future.
He was really down to earth. His shows were generally about people from small towns, humble beginnings, like Walt was himself. And it was something I think people could connect to and aspire, that, if some terrible wrong came to your city, maybe you could be the next Zorro and fight injustice.
Well, I'm talking sense and you know it.
It all comes back to Davy. It all comes back to Walt Disney and Swamp Fox, Elfego, Baca, and the rest would probably not have existed had Crockett not led the way. Everything flows from Walt. It's always Walt.